What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to a new video. I know it has been a couple of days of an absence for me, and it honestly feels like a lifetime, but I apologize for the absence. I apologize for not making videos for a couple of days, but that's how it's going to be every pay-per-view weekend, because there's Monday Night Raw afterwards, so, you know, I can't upload. So there will always be a 1 or 2 day absence there between the pay-per-views when I cannot upload. But that's okay, because I'll be back the next day with a double special episode of a Raw review, and this right now an Extreme Rules review. You will see the Raw review now a couple of hours after this, or an hour later. I'm going to be scheduled uploading all the time from now on, because I'll be uploading at 4 AM to suit my viewers over there in the States and in the UK. So I just wanted to mention that right now, guys. I'm going to be scheduled uploading my videos all the time. I'm going to be scheduling them for 4 AM my time, which works out, I believe, about midday roughly New York time. It's around, sorry, not midday, that works out to be around 3 to 4 PM. So right when everyone gets back from school, right when everyone's on YouTube in the New York. It's a little bit of a worry for the UK. I'm not sure what time people go over in the UK, but I know I did it right. It's around 7 PM, 6 PM. So I'm assuming that's when everyone's on YouTube. You know, it's roughly when I'm checking everything after a long day. And then in Los Angeles time, so PST, I think it is Pacific Standard Time. Over there, guys, it is roughly midday, I think. It might be a little bit earlier, 11 AM. I don't know, but that's just the best times for me to do it, so I'm going to be scheduled uploading all the time, so it suits you guys, so you can see it in your sub boxes, etc. So let's get on to the review itself. I'm going to be doing this, and of course then the Raw review. You'll see that a little bit later. So let's get right into the pre-show. Before the actual pre-show match started, we had Renee Young hosting with Titus O'Neil, Wade Barrett, and Mick Foley, the hardcore legend Mick Foley, that's it, on the panel, and they were discussing the show, what's going to happen. So the first match of the night was the pre-show match, and that was The Miz versus Cody Rhodes. It was a very, very short match, I guess kind of expected, but I don't know. It was quicker than I was expecting. It was certainly not exactly what I was thinking. The Miz defeated Cody Rhodes via the figure 4 leg lock, if you watched it or didn't watch it. You know, as I said, it was a quick match. Really not much to note other than The Miz getting over Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes' career at the moment is going on a down low. But that, I guess, kind of was rejuvenated on Raw, surprisingly. And I'll explain that a little bit later today in the second video. But anyway, The Miz beating Cody Rhodes via the figure 4 leg lock. So the opening match of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view inside, I think it was the Scott Drade Center in St. Louis, Missouri. We had Chris Jericho versus Fandango. And it was certainly better than their WrestleMania match, but it was wasn't the best match. I put it that way. There were only a couple of good matches on the card. Well, really, there was only one. Yeah, there was 2 good matches, and they will come a little bit later. But it was better than their WrestleMania match. It wasn't the greatest match. There were a couple of good spots here and there. Obviously, the greatest spot was the ending, where Chris Jericho defeated Fandango via a mid-air code breaker. It was perfectly executed. And Jericho got the 1, 2, 3. So throughout the match, I noticed with Fandango, he was looking to Chris Jericho for orders. He wasn't working the match. Theoretically, Jericho was putting in more of the effort and really earning his money for the show. Fandango was really just listening to Jericho and doing what Jericho told him. Of course, we do know Jericho is that type of guy. He will help a superstar out, but I think it was a little bit too much. Fandango was just looking for too much directions. He didn't know what to do. And I'm a bit disappointed because I expected big things from this guy. And Chris Jericho, for me, just done a heck of a lot for Fandango in this match. And probably kept his character alive. Otherwise, the match could have been even worse than it was. Kind of like WrestleMania, but this one was certainly a little bit better. So Jericho coming up with the win there. Actually, that was on Raw. Raw, you'll see the feud kind of continues. I do expect a rematch at Payback. So then we had, for me, which was the match of the night. That was Dean Ambrose versus Kofi Kingston for the United States title. Very, very entertaining match. And guys, quickly I wanted to mention, actually on your screen whilst I'm doing this, you're going to be seeing matches from WWE 13. I'm playing them again from Extreme Rules. Not all of them. It'll only be a select few matches. Probably the better ones. And I'm going to be trying to make the endings as close to the real thing as possible. So if you want to know how it ended, I guess kind of watch on it. You know, it's close. Like this match here, I don't know if it's on right now, but it'll be on sometime during this commentary. Dean Ambrose versus Kofi Kingston. You will see how Ambrose won. And by the way, I may as well tell you now, Dean Ambrose beat Kofi Kingston, obviously, to become United States Champion. So a Shield member is US Champion. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins did not accompany him to the ring. They actually left when they were halfway down the steps through the crowd. So he beat him via that headlock driver, and the way it happened is, as you would have seen on this commentary, it's somewhere in this video. I think it might have been the first match I've chucked on. Kofi Kingston missed Trouble in Paradise. He bounced off the ropes. Obviously, you can't make a superstar bounce off the ropes on WWE 13. It'll be a variant of that. Anyway, he bounced off the ropes and then was given the headlock driver, and he became US champion. And I'm very happy about that. I know a lot of people are fans of Dean Ambrose. I'm one of them. I'm a believer in this Shield. I really like what they're doing. They're probably keeping the WWE alive at the moment because the WWE is just not going anywhere for me. And hopefully this is big things to come from the Shield. More on them later. Then we move on to Sheamus versus Mark Henry in the strap match. And, it was a better match than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Certainly was nowhere near the best match of the night. Well, really, there was only a couple of good matches, and that really was the Shield involved in both. But Sheamus beat Mark Henry. I was kind of expecting it. I know I predicted, I'm pretty sure I predicted a Mark Henry win in my preview, but I don't know. I wasn't too sure, as I said, but it did end up being Sheamus coming out on top, hitting Mark Henry with a bro kick, and then touching the final turnbuckle. The match was entertaining. I liked how they were using unique ways to actually touch the turnbuckles. Otherwise, it would have just been your typical, kick him, go to the turnbuckle. But they used different ways. Mark Henry wrapped him around like he was a cow or a bull, and dragged him around the ring. And even Sheamus went around the side of the turnbuckles and sort of went around touching the turnbuckles. So they used unique ways to do it, which kept the match fresh. So I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought there were a couple of really good spots in there. More on Mark Henry in my newsroom episode tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a big newsroom episode. I've got a couple of big things involving injuries and that sort of thing. So Mark Henry did suffer a bit of an injury, and I will talk to you about that in tomorrow's episode of the WWE Newsroom. So then we had the I Quit match. Alberto Del Rio taking on Jack Swagger, the Real American. And this match, I guess, was kind of two matches in one because it had a bit of a twist. About midway through the match, Jack Swagger had Alberto Del Rio in the Patriot Lock, or the ankle lock as some may refer to it as, and Ricardo Rodriguez had a white towel, and as you would know in boxing, if you throw in the towel, you quit, basically. And obviously they didn't want to work the angle that Del Rio would say the words, "I quit." Sorry about this, I'm coughing for some odd reason. Well, not really coughing, but you know what I mean. Please don't mind that. Anyway, we had Ricardo Rodriguez. I'm starting to forget names now. Ricardo Rodriguez had a white towel in his bucket, and he was asking Del Rio, should I throw it in? Del Rio was like, no, do not throw the white towel in. Then the referee, I believe, was distracted slightly. I can't remember why, but he was slightly distracted, and then, what's the name? Jack Swagger's buddy, Zeb Coulter, he went over, he pushed Ricardo Rodriguez out of the way, grabbed the white towel and threw it in the ring. The referee didn't see who threw it in the ring, but he saw the white towel in the ring and called for the match to be ended. So at this point, Jack Swagger was #1 contender and had beaten Alberto Del Rio, forcing him, theoretically, to quit, to say, I quit, even though he didn't really say it. But anyway, you know what I mean. Then, I think it was Rod Zapata, I think that's his name, Rod Zapata, came to the ring, and he's not an experienced referee. He's one of the younger referees. Wouldn't say younger, but less experienced referees. Came out to the ring and told the referee he made the wrong call, that Swagger didn't. Zeb Coulter threw the towel in, not Ricardo Rodriguez. Then, would you believe it? They used a video replay to pretty much see what occurred during the match. So a little bit of an interesting twist there. The referee reversed the decision. Well, restarted the match basically. And Alberto Del Rio eventually put Jack Swagger into the cross arm breaker. And eventually Jack Swagger had no choice but to say, I quit. So Alberto Del Rio officially becoming #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And he will be after Dolph Ziggler. Probably at WWE Payback, most likely. Again, though, in the future, maybe at SummerSlam, we probably will still see that triple threat ladder match that we were supposed to see at Extreme Rules. I'm going to guess SummerSlam for that one. Maybe Money in the Bank. I don't know. If they're still... Excuse me. My voice is going absolutely horrible right now. We will probably see that match. It could be Money in the Bank, as I just said, or SummerSlam. I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated with that in the future. I apologize for my voice, guys. It has been very croaky all day for some reason. I don't even have the flu anymore. It's gone. I guess probably because I've been absent for the past couple of days. Anyway, now we had for mine was the second best match of the night. And yes, it's not even the main event. The main events were just I just forget it. Anyway, it was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins taking on the tag team champions Team Hell No in a tornado-style tag team match. And it was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins becoming tag team champions, winning them off Team Hell No in this tornado tag team match. It was a very good match, very exciting. Nothing in comparison to the Raw match that they had. All three members, which I'll explain in the next video in a couple of hours. That was just epic. But anyway, this tag team match was good. It ended with Roman Reigns holding, was it, I think, Daniel Bryan? Can't actually remember. One of the two Hell No members, I think it was Daniel Bryan, up on his shoulders in a reverse, I think it was, what do they call it, an Argentine backbreaker position. And Seth Rollins would come flying off the top rope, hitting that knee. I'm not sure what he calls it. I know William Regal called his the knee trembler, but he struck him with his knee, and then Roman Reigns struck whoever it was. Honestly, I forget. Apologies there, but one of them with a spear. I think it was Daniel Bryan, and pinned him to become WWE Tag Team Champions. So the Shield holding all three bits of gold. And to be honest, I think what the Shield need now is perhaps another member. They need another member. They need someone to become WWE Champion or World Heavyweight Champion, or they need someone to become World Champion and then become a member of the Shield. Because obviously, well, Ambrose could hold both titles. That would work, but then it would sort of put the other two guys at a down sort of. It just wouldn't work for them too. So very good match there. Certainly one of the better matches of the night. Then we had Randy Orton versus the Big Show in an Extreme Rules match, and this was actually it was a better match than I was expecting again, but the ending was good. I liked the ending, and I'm very shocked about it, actually. I didn't see it coming, but very, very good match. Certainly not the best match of the night, probably the third best behind Roman Reigns, well, the tag team titles match, and then Ambrose and Kofi. But very good match. Randy Orton defeating the Big Show in an Extreme... Oh, I keep going over my notes here. Randy Orton beat the Big Show in that Extreme Rules match via a punt kick. Yes. Randy Orton hit an RKO, and I'm thinking, why on earth is he not pinning him? And then it was sort of kind of obvious that he was going to back off, go back into his own turnbuckle, and then he ran after Big Show, about to hit the punt kick. I honestly thought there is no way they're going to let Randy Orton hit him here, and it honestly makes you question whether Randy did this at his own will, or if Vince McMahon or the bookers told him to do this. Anyway, he came up. I was expecting the Big Show to move out, for Randy Orton to just sort of whack his knee into the turnbuckle and the Big Show to knock him out. But no, the punt kick connected and Randy Orton picked up the pinfall. I couldn't believe it. Punt kick returns. I don't know if it'll be permanent. Probably won't be. Actually, for a second there, I thought on Raw he was going to hit it again. And I'll explain that in the video coming up a little bit later. So Randy Orton coming out on top in that one. Surprise ending there, guys. Anyway, let's move on to what I thought was going to be the main event and what really probably should have been the main event considering the way it ended. And that was John Cena versus Ryback. And this had no winner. Yes, if you didn't watch the pay-per-view and you wanted to know what happened, this had absolutely no winner. It ended in a no contest after Ryback sent himself and John Cena through the stage lights. Cena does retain the WWE Championship. So they were on the stage. Well, actually, it first started in the ring, of course. It was last man standing. There were a lot of 1 to 10 counts, or close to 10. A couple of 9 counts. And eventually they went out into the crowd. Cena speared Ryback, of course, through the barricade, which forced them into the crowd. Then they went out. Cena actually went up on the railings and did a body splash, or an elbow through the table. That was a pretty good spot. And because the crowd was sort of getting involved. Then eventually they would go out onto the stage. And then they had the Trons there. Ryback sort of speared or threw Cena himself and Cena through the lights. There was a pyro effect. It went off. Very dangerous. And then when cameras went around the side, you could see Cena was sort of hanging on top of this railing. It was a pretty good ending. It was a decent end. It wasn't the best match of the night. I know there were a lot of good spots, but I think just the general feel of the match wasn't that good. But it was certainly better than I was expecting between the two. Thank God they made it last man standing, otherwise it would have been one of the worst matches we would have ever seen. And I sort of like that they're putting this into an extreme factor. The way they kind of injured Cena, who was stretched out. He actually refused, on Raw, they explained this, it was on eWrestling News, Cena refused to get out, to be taken away in the ambulance. He actually got up off the stretcher, but, you know, they're working an injury angle with Cena. So that ended in a no contest. It wasn't the final match of the night, which is a little bit surprising, but a decent ending nonetheless. Then we had the main event itself, and that was Brock Lesnar versus Triple H inside a steel cage, a very new steel cage, a matter of fact, If you haven't seen it, the panels were a little bit smaller. The steel cage itself was taller, and it was the same width, but the panels, the walls, were actually sort of, there was steel in between them a little bit more. I think there was 3 lines of steel instead of 2. Looked a little bit different. It was a little bit taller, but that didn't matter because no one escaped the cage. It was Brock Lesnar, surprisingly for me, winning the match. I was expecting a draw, both of them to be maybe knocked out, or both of them perhaps to go through the cage. I was expecting the cage wall to fall. It didn't. But Brock Lesnar beating Triple H via an F5 and pinfall inside the cage. And I was actually a little bit shocked. Again, I thought Triple H was going to win, or it was going to end in a no contest. And Brock Lesnar sold this ankle injury very well. Not ankle injury, I think it was a knee problem. He struck his knee into the steel cage sort of a quarter into the way of the match, and then for the whole match he was struggling to walk, and he did not forget for 1 second. Every time he was doing a move, he went back to the knee. I was very impressed with Lesnar and how he went about his match. He kept going back to the knee even when he lifted him up for every single move. Now, I don't mean a little bit. Every move he remembered to go to his knee and sell that his knee was hurt. So hats off to Brock Lesnar. He had a very good match. Triple H was good as well. A decent match, but it still just did not live up to the standards of Dean Ambrose versus Kofi Kingston. That was just by far the match of the night. This didn't even come close to the tag team title match. Maybe it was better than the Randy Orton Big Show match. I don't know. It probably was. I guess, yeah, I'll go Brock Lesnar and Triple H being better than Randy Orton and Big Show, but I still think the tag team match was even better than this or Cena's match. That's just my opinion. You guys can have your own opinion. But I thought Brock Lesnar and Triple H didn't have enough spots. You know, what I was really hoping for was Triple H sort of halfway up the cage, hoping for Brock Lesnar to just jump up on the ropes and German suplex Triple H down. That would have been very good. Honestly, I wish I could have told him to do that because I was really hoping that would happen because of the way they do those German suplexes. Brock Lesnar's brilliant at it, and unfortunately it didn't happen. You know, there could have been another couple of spots. I know it was very unlikely. This was one of my wild predictions that I would have hoped that would have happened. It was never going to happen. But Triple H lying in the middle of the thing, Brock Lesnar can just escape the cage if he wants, but no, he decides to do a shooting star press off the top of the cage. That would have been nice, but no, that was never going to happen. Other than that, good match. Certainly not the match in the night, as I said, but good enough. Put it that way. It was good enough. So overall, guys, decent pay-per-view. It wasn't as good as WrestleMania, and it wasn't, I don't know, it's hard to talk about it because it's mixed reactions. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, but I know Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole, you know, and JBL were labeling it the most extreme rules ever, but it was nowhere near the most extreme rules ever. If this was the most extreme rules ever, there would have been, you know, blood, there would have been a lot more chair shots, and all that sort of things. I know there were a few tables that were broken, but honestly, the tables weren't the best table breaks either. The elbow through Ryback was probably the best table break. Cena being put through it, through a fall away slam in the ring wasn't that crash on. It was sort of stuffed up a little bit. Overall, decent pay-per-view. I would rate it. My honest rating, I'm going to go through all the matches now and give you a rating. Actually, I may as well do that. I wasn't going to do it, but I might. So let's start with the pre-show. The Miz Cody Rhodes, I gave that a 3 out of 10. It was a horrible match. Well, it wasn't horrible, but it was just too short. There's just nothing given. Alright, maybe I'll give it a 4 out of 10, okay? Miz, Cody Rhodes, 4 out of 10. Chris Jericho versus Fandango, I'll give a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5.5 out of 10. I liked the finish. It was a better match than WrestleMania, but it still wasn't the greatest. Dean Ambrose versus Kofi Kingston, I'll give a 9 out of 10 rating. It could even go to a 9.5. I thought it was a very, very exciting match. Very well worth a 9 rating. And that, for me, match of the night. Sheamus versus Mark Henry, I will give a 7.5 out of 10. It was a better match than I was expecting. Very, very good spots. I was actually maybe an 8. It was better than the Jericho Fandango match. I'll go for a 7.5 out of 10. And then actually, you could probably give Miz versus Fandango a 4 again. Miz versus Cody Rhodes. Make that a 4. That works probably a lot better. Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger, I would give that probably a 5.5 rating. Nah, I'd give that about a 6.5 actually. A 6-point rating. We'll go 6-point rating for Alberto Del Rio and Swagger. It wasn't the greatest match, but, you know, it was kind of a unique way that it ended with both men sort of winning at one point. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins defeating Team Hell No in that Tornado Tag Team match for the titles. I give that an 8.5 out of 10. Very good match as well. Not quite up to the standard of Kofi and Ambrose, but it was close. Good match, very exciting, and I've always loved Tornado Tag Team matches. Randy Orton versus The Big Show, I'd also give about a 7 to 7.5 rating. Probably a 7.5 rating. Maybe an 8. I'll go 7.5 to 8 rating for The Big Show and Randy Orton. Cena and Ryback, I would also give about an 8 rating. Probably an 8 spot for Cena and Ryback. I would give the spots, the way they used the whole match, around there a 9, because they were brilliant. But the overall match, I'd give about a 7.5 to an 8. Brock Lesnar and Triple H, I would probably give an 8.5. As I said, it wasn't as good as Roman Reigns versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins winning the tag team titles, but it was up there. 8. It was close. Wasn't the best, but it was close. Now, overall, I'd give the pay-per-view about a 7, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't the best pay-per-view. I've seen a lot better. WrestleMania for me was slightly better. Wasn't the best WrestleMania. 28 was a lot better, but this was certainly nowhere near WrestleMania 29 standards for me. So that's it, guys, for the Extreme Rules review. We're actually over 20 minutes, which is sort of what I wanted. I wanted it to be an in-depth review. That's why I waited a couple of days. And I want to see your guys' feedback. What did you think of the pay-per-view? Also, while I have the chance, guys, I am proud to announce that I am officially a YouTube partner. I am partnered through Social Blade / the RPM network. Thank you to them for allowing me to become a partner. Of course, now I have thumbnails, as you will see all over my videos. I will be scheduling my videos, as I said, now that I'm a partner. And I'd like to thank you guys, the viewers and the subscribers, for helping me become a partner. Helps me a lot. Speaking of helping me a lot, guys, if you could follow me on Twitter at WWE Down Under 101, that would be great. 52 followers at the moment. More would be lovely, because you can follow in with exclusives on Twitter and special previews and reviews. Now, I was gonna keep doing Facebook. I didn't do it, but I think we'll keep Facebook out of it. No one seems to like it as much. Make sure you subscribe for the very best WWE content, WWE 13 content as well. And remember, next Monday, the 27th of May, my WWE 13 universe will debut with Monday Night Raw. Well, not live, but live on the WDU network. Monday Night Raw, next Monday, the 27th of May. I will have a final trailer out this week. Stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. I'll probably have the trailer out either tomorrow with the newsroom episode or the next day. I don't know. I'm really excited to bring you that, because it is a very entertaining trailer, and it is the final trailer before Monday. I'm looking forward to it, guys. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, and as I said, make sure you subscribe to see more WWE content. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for the Monday Night Raw review. I'll catch you guys then.